Hi, welcome to Iron Bay Restaurant. My name is Joe Constance and I'm one of the partners, and today we're going to do a historical tour of what we put together here at the restaurant. The entire restaurant is laid out with numbers, and each of the historical photos are numbered, and we have a key that we hand out to each of the customers that show what the numbers relate to. So it gives a lot of the history and the story behind the picture. So the building was built in 1872, and you can see number 1 there. It was originally called Iron Bay Manufacturing Company. The bay out here in the harbor, when Marquette was first forming, was called and still is called Iron Bay. So that's where that name came from. And then they started a factory. That was actually the second building, which is the building we're in right now. And then it went into a number of different names. It went into Lakeshore Iron Works, then it went to the Lakeshore Engine Works, then it went to Lakeshore Engineering, and then it just went to Lakeshore. And Lakeshore is still in existence today in multiple locations. They're headquartered in Milwaukee. So it's transpired over a period of years into a number of different entities. Our next one here shows the original building of Iron Bay Foundry. And they outgrew this when I think they had about 40 employees at the time. And it was right located at the very end of this building. And so eventually they tore it down to extend this building, but then this building was built in 1872. The next photo is a prototype of an automobile that was done right here on site. It was done around 1900. It was before Henry Ford even did his automobiles. And it was tested at night because they didn't want anybody to know about it. They had to push it up the hills because it didn't have enough power to go up the hills. And so it was prototyped. The guy, Bloomstrom was his name. He ended up moving down to Detroit with that car and one other prototype, and he started his own manufacturing firm down in Detroit. And so they were manufacturing about 100 cars a month for a number of years, and then he eventually went bankrupt. But I think he lasted about 7 years. Then we have our famous latrine car. The mines were having problems with methane buildup and actual explosions where people were dying, and so they had to come up with a plan for getting rid of the waste. And they developed this latrine car, which was on tracks, and it would go down and be parked down there. And they learned very quickly that they don't put the latrine car in the intake duct; they put it in the exhaust duct, and you can understand why. But that was invented here and built here. The first outboard motor, proclaimed to be the first outboard motor in the world, it was invented here, built here. Unfortunately, the builders did not patent it, and Waterman patented it in 1905. So about 5 years after they built this, the motor was patented, but not by the people that built it. And you can see the rest of the photos all have historical. Those were all products that were made here. Here's the old, when it was a train depot in the early 1900s. You can see the people standing out in front. Everybody was dressed up for the train rides. Train rides were 35 cents from Marquette to Ishpeming, and you could go all the way down to past Munising anyway. And so you can see the delivery vehicles and horse and buggies. Each of these views out the window toward the lake show you what the view would have been at different times. This one's 1890. If you were sitting right here looking out at that lake at 1890, that would have been your view. And you can see it's a lot more industrial. There was a lumber mill and a log saw off the lake, and it was just real rustic, obviously. And then this one is from 1949, where it was a coal unloader. A lot of people here remember that. Even when I was a paper boy, I used to go out on the coal boats and sell papers. And it was just all very dirty and very industrial. And now you've got Matson Park out there, which is obviously a real asset to the community. But you can see the building that we're in right here on the end, and then the view. And then the train schedules. Train schedules from the early 1900s. An ad from D.H. Merritt. Merritt was the founder of the Iron Bay Foundry. Founder of the foundry. He ended up selling the foundry in late 1870s, might have been 1880. He moved to Minneapolis and went for work for a firm called Merritt and Chapman, which was his family business. They were engineers and construction, and they actually, that firm did build the Mackinac Bridge in 1954, even though he was not around again, or at that point, but there is some history there also. Over here we've got some construction photos of when the ore docks are being built. And you can see all the different stages of ore docks. This is ore dock number 4 that's being built. The ore dock that's out there right now is ore dock number 6. And so that was built, and there's a lot of history on the sheet that I was talking about. So you can see it as it's being constructed right through the middle of the winter and what the top looks like. This is a view of Marquette Harbor in 1881. You can see our building right here is still here, 10 years after it was built. All the different ships, the sail masting ships. You can also see the name Iron Bay right here. And that's in 1881. That shows Marquette. There's a lot of woods and undeveloped. Our last two photos. This is the earliest known pictograph of Marquette from 1850. And you can see this was pretty much down on the top of Front Street, maybe by Ridge. And you can see that there were only a couple of homes, one boat, one dock, and this is Ripley's Rock here. It wasn't Ripley's Rock at the time, but that's what it is now. So it's just on the other side of the ore dock. But you can see the whole area is strictly woods. And finally, we wrap up with our photo of the dancers. For 10 years, 1955 to 1965, this was a dance hall. There were 3 different dances here, and you can see the dancers dancing. You can also see the white posts in the picture, and that's the same white post that you see right there. So you can see it continue on. A lot of people have come in, they've identified themselves, they know their neighbor, they know people, friends. There's some local celebrities in here. There were a lot of loves made here. There were marriages made here. And so it's got a lot of fun history to it. So that's pretty much an overview of the history of the wall. We also have the same thing on all the tables. There's historical photos on all the tables. There's a key to them, so when you sit down at a table, you know what the table history is. And so we're trying to recreate. There's so much history that went on here. It's just a lot of fun to be able to recreate it and be a part of it. Thank you for taking the history tour today. I hope you enjoyed it. Please feel free to stop in. We'd be happy to serve you and share any more facts and information with you. And we'd also be happy to hear from you on your memories of this place. Thank you.